final. The vet, Ron Burke, looks at the life and times of Veterans Stadium.
On November 3rd, 1964, the nation elected Lyndon Johnson president, and the people of Philadelphia approved a $25 million bond issue for a new stadium. Over the next few years, various sites and designs were debated, but in the end, Broad and Patterson won out. And on October 2nd, 1967, finally ground was broken. Representing the Eagles was team vice president Ed Snyder, who said, "The stadium is the finest combination of a baseball and football stadium I've ever seen."
Well, it was. And, you know, what I meant by that is that, you know, when you converted to baseball, you know, it became a good baseball stadium. And when we converted back to football, one side was closer than the other, which it had to be because of baseball. But it was as close as it was as any dual-purpose stadium in the country at the time.
It would be almost 4 years before the Eagles played their first game at the Vet on August 16th, 1971, a preseason matchup against the Bills. And even then, there was a concern about the turf.
I remember it was the first time that they actually had to cover the bases and try and put a football field out there. And I remember the night before the game that the Eagles came over and had a workout on the field to just try and get a feel for, because artificial turf itself was pretty new in 1971. And I remember being sort of just hanging around in the locker room, and the Eagles general manager at the time, Pete Retzlaff, came in the locker room and he was just furious. And he said to me, he said, "Come with me, I want to show you something." So he walked me down the tunnel onto the field, and he walked me around the field. And we walked to all the cutouts, the pitcher's mound, second base, all these spots. And he was putting his foot down on there. And he was saying, "Look at this, look at this." And he was stepping in some spots where actually his shoe was disappearing. It was going down so far that his shoe was disappearing in this covering. And he said, "We can't play on this field. This field is unsafe now." Now, this is 1971, first game there. These are all the things we've heard now for the next 30 years.
After some last-minute work, the Eagles won that game 34-28 in front of more than 65,000 fans.
It was just something new for me to see that many people in a stadium and making that much noise.
The feeling was that this new stadium was a new era. A page had been turned, and that things were going to get better. And that part of getting better was getting into this new home.
Their regular season home opener wasn't quite as successful. It took another month before the Birds got their first win at the Vet, and it wasn't much longer before the shine wore off.
It became gray and dusty and old-looking early on. Concrete has a way of doing that.
And soon the complaints outnumbered the compliments.
The stench, the rats crawling over the top of the office space.
I've had water dripping off pipes onto my head while I've been trying to write a story.
Is there anybody who hasn't been stuck in the media elevator?
The weight room was certainly the worst in the National Football League.
The Vet became more obsolete because I don't believe it was ever maintained properly. It was run by the city, and it just never happened. But unfortunately, it became probably the least desirable of the dual-purpose stadiums.
But the biggest problem remained the turf.
We didn't think about what the turf was supposed to look like. We knew it was hard. We knew it was crazy. We knew it would cut you up. And I guess the more that they played on in the years that we played on, it got worse.
It was very advantageous to play at Veterans Stadium. All the things about the field, you know, it created some mystique. It created a doubt in people's mind. You know, I still see it now when I'm broadcasting games. You know, people are worried about the field. Players come out 2 hours early with 8 pairs of shoes. They're not thinking about the Eagles. They're thinking about the field.
A lot of times in warm-ups, you'd even throw something out, throw a little bone out at them. Yeah, you got to watch it over there, guys. You know, be careful on this turf so that it stays fresh in their mind.
Various improvements over the years were not enough to save the Vet, and so the Eagles are leaving for a new nest. But the memories remain.
It's not a stadium with character as far as its structure is concerned. It's the teams and the people that have made it special.
I've been to the Philadelphia airport, to the Spectrum, hundreds and hundreds of times. And you just can't help to see, you know, driving down 95 South, Veterans Stadium. That's the first thing that catches your eye. That's the first thing when you're flying in on a plane, someone's sitting next to you. You know, is that Veterans Stadium? That's Veterans Stadium.
Season for the Eagles at Veterans Stadium. There undoubtedly has been moments of the past and present that will live with us forever. Unfortunately, for all the good times, there are those times which took a turn for the worse. In part 2 of our series, Football's Farewell, Memories of the Vet, we look back at some of the glorious and infamous moments in Veterans Stadium history.
The Veteran Stadium was picked as the worst surface, and by an overwhelming number of the players.
It was so sharp, and you got these great big strawberry burns on your elbows and on your knees.
Other teams, all week long, they talked about having to play at the Vet and having to play on that horrible turf. So it was in the back of their mind.
You don't want that turf monster or the sea monster come bite you at an inopportune time.
Wendell Davis is running a pass pattern, and then it's though his legs have been chopped out from under him. Man went down like he'd been shot.
This is just carpet over cement is all this is.
Once you slam your head on that stuff, it's going to take an effect. It's going to eventually affect you.
Every stadium has a way to get a player off the field. They're bringing a gurney out right now. They're not going to move him.
The worst part of that was the reaction of the fans when they cheered when he was down.
Everyone was down on Philadelphia and our fans and what we're not, that we're not good people.
Both teams at this point and a group of the players are taking the position that they're not playing on this field.
You remember when they replaced it because the first game never got played.
That score will not change. We have just been told tonight's scheduled preseason opener between the Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens has been canceled.
A guy by the name of Doug Dennison from Kutztown State University took the ball and went off tackle, and at about the 5-yard line, I had one of the best hits I've ever had on this guy, and the ball goes skirting off to the left. Fumbles the ball, Joe the Bird Lavender, our defensive left corner, he scoops the ball up and he goes on into the end zone for a 96-yard touchdown.
I used to go down to the Monday press conferences. They had lost a very disappointing game. And so I said to Mike McCormick, I said, Mike, how many dogs do you have on this team? And I threw it out just like that. And he said, I thought he would say, well, none. This team plays hard. We've had some bad breaks, but. He said, 2.
And the fans just responded with biting humor. They brought these inflatable dog bones to the Monday night game against Los Angeles, and they were parading through the stands with these huge dog bones.
One of the greatest plays I've ever seen a quarterback make. I mean, he got hit, had one hand hold him up, maintained his balance, got up, threw the football for a touchdown. It was amazing.
Once Carl Banks hit me and knocked my legs out from under me, it was just a natural instinct reaction from God to just put my hand down.
Here we go, 4th down. They give it to Smith and they stop him again! They stop him again!
That's unbelievable. This is unbelievable. What in the heck is going on?
Here you get this situation, 4th and 1, you run it, you're stopped. Now you're going to come back, you're going to go for it again and run the same play again. Now what's that telling you? These guys don't respect you.
Barry Switzer, afterwards defended that decision. He's the only one in the universe who did.
To, do it in that fashion, I mean, it was just, a big moment. I don't think I've ever heard the Vet, louder at that particular moment.
Jimmy Johnson brought the Cowboys in and they were bombing him with snowballs. And I felt so sorry for him, but at the same time, that's our house. You don't come to our house trying to mess with us.
You had just come to expect that, from our fans here. If they didn't like something, they let you know, And I say all the time, Philadelphia's got the greatest fans anywhere.
Jaworski, short drop, pass for Mike Quick. There he goes.
First of all, you're huddling up, in the shadows of your goalpost. And if you're 1 inch from the goal line at Veterans Stadium, you're huddling up pretty much in the stands.
I think we're just trying to get some breathing room.
It was a play that Mike and I pretty much for our era owned. It was called the Firm 8.
I know that the safety couldn't get there in time. I push up, I run my slant, and when I turn, the ball's right there. Bam, perfect. Jaworski passed to quick.
He split the corner, split the safety for the Falcons, and went 99 yards, 2 feet and 11 inches for the touchdown.
When I got the ball in my hands, I ran scared often, and it was hard to catch me when I'm running scared. So I knew that there's no way they were going to catch me. I was off to the races.
Jaworski, gives off inside, running with Montgomery up the right side.
Most memorable and probably the most, without a doubt, the most important single play in the history of football at the Vet.
I right, slot split, 46 slant. Game plan, the first time we got in a nickel situation against their nickel defensive pack, we were gonna run that.
Bitterly cold day, and I can still remember Wilbur Montgomery exploding off the right side and taking it into the end zone, and everybody knew the Eagles were headed for Super Bowl 15.
The score of the game was 20-7, but it was not. The score was not a result of the way we played the game. We absolutely annihilated the Dallas Cowboys.
Son of a gun. They're going to go to the Super Bowl.
Keep the ball rolling, keep the ball rolling. We're the Eagles and we're #1. With Vermeil and so Philadelphia knows that we'll keep the ball rolling, baby, right into our hearts.
December 30th, 2001. The Eagles confront the New York Giants with the division title at stake.
He's back on first down. He looks, he fires, and it is caught for a touchdown by John Woods. His second of the game.
That touchdown tied the game at 21 with just 1:49 to go. And moments later, number 5 engineered a 54-yard drive for the lead.
Going into the huddle, just looking through the eyes of the rest of the guys, and just seeing that fire, just knowing that, with that confidence, knowing that we were going to win the game.
Ball is spotted. The kick is away. It's not the distance. And he's gone!
But the Giants still had 7 seconds and one last chance.
And they flip to Ron Dixon. And Ron Dixon needs one man to block. Time has run out. And Ron Dixon doesn't get there. He doesn't get there, and the Eagles win. What a dramatic finish.
I remember turning back to talk to a guy in the camera. I say, I can't talk yet. The fat lady haven't sung yet. I look back and he's running down the field. And I turn back and I look at him and I say, well, now we can talk.
And the talk of the town was the Eagles' first division title in 13 years.
Girl, I must.
November 12th, 1990. The Eagles and Redskins took center stage in what has affectionately become known as the body bag game.
And I think Humphreys is hurt.
The Birds' vaunted defense knocked Washington's top 2 quarterbacks out of the game and sent 9 Redskins to the hospital.
There's a lot of people that got hurt in the game, and most of them were on the Redskins side.
All I know is those guys kept going out like flies.
You got to a point where you're saying, this is scary. This is scary. I'm starting to wonder, are they going to be able to finish the game? You almost wondered if at some point they were just going to say, oh, whoa, let's call this off now.
The Skins had to finish the game with a rookie running back at quarterback, Ryan Mitchell.
They just knocked out 9 players. 4 of them I was backing up. And I can't remember too much about being nervous or whatever, because the only thing I remember was it's Monday Night Football and my friends are watching.
The entire country watched Gang Green annihilate Washington 28-14.
This is how we do it.
December 30th, 1995. Wild Card Weekend pit the Eagles against the Red Hot Lions, winners of 7 straight. And to help stoke the fire, Pro Bowl tackle Lomas Brown even guaranteed a Detroit W. But his words didn't hold much water or waters.
15, 10, 5. Waters high steps into the end zone for a touchdown.
The Eagles struck early and often, scoring 8 times in their first 11 possessions in a 58-37 shellacking of the Lions.
Ron Carpenter caught it in the end zone. I don't believe it.
He said the game was going to be over by the first quarter, and pretty much it was over, but he chose the wrong team.
He kind of demolished them into winning in a decisive manner, which we did that day. I can't even put it into words, what it felt like and, what it still means to me now.
December 10th, 1995. The Birds and Boys battled in week number 15. The score was deadlocked at 17 late in the fourth quarter when Barry Switzer faced a 4th and 1 on his own 29, and the coach took a gamble.
Smith gets the carry. He doesn't make it. No, that's a bad call. You can't do that. Now they're saying maybe the 2-minute warning ran out.
He stopped Emmett Smith once, and then darned if the Cowboys didn't try to run the same play again.
Same play. Didn't get it again. Did it again. That's unbelievable. This is unbelievable. What in the heck is going on?
To try the same play twice. That was really shoving it up our nose, you know?
Here we go, 4th down. They give it to Smith, and they stop him again. They stop him again.
I think everybody was in the stands, 65,000 people, all felt like they had a piece of Emmitt Smith's jersey, holding them back.
That stop set up Gary Anderson's game-winning field goal, which coincidentally was also waved off the first time because referees had yet to signal play. But his second attempt cleared the uprights for a 20-17 win.
It's gone!
January 11th, 1981, the Eagles and Cowboys squared off in the NFC Championship, vying for a trip to the Super Bowl.
If the Dallas Cowboys are going to take us for granted, we'll whip their ass.
Dick Vermeil had us all so focused, so in tune to what we were doing, that when we went down that tunnel, there was not any question in anybody's mind that we were going to kick the daylights out of the Dallas Cowboys.
I really think Dallas lost that game when they got off the bus and it was so cold.
The second largest crowd in Vet history braved bitterly cold temperatures and witnessed Wilbert Montgomery set the tone early in the first quarter.
For some reason, it seemed to be worth more than 7 points.
He breaks it off, and nobody ever touched him. I mean, if that's a game of touch, he wins too, you know?
Everybody knew the Eagles were headed for Super Bowl 15. Everybody. It was only the first quarter, but we knew as we saw that 31 cross the goal line that they were headed there.
But Montgomery wasn't done, as number 31 went on to carve up the Dallas D for 194 yards.
Wilbert Montgomery having his day of days.
The Birds pulled away with 13 second-half points to turn dreams into reality.
I'll tell you where you're going. You're going to the Super Bowl. He's going to the Super Bowl where he's going.
I remember looking up at the clock and seeing it go 5, 4, and whatever follows, and I'm thinking to myself, son of a gun, they're going to go to the Super Bowl.
And when the clock did strike 0, the scoreboard read 20-7, and the Eagles were headed to New Orleans for Super Bowl 15.